On this episode of Technicolor Blood, we will take a look at some anticipated films of 2019.
Seems like the perfect time of year to do it.
Technicolor Blood, we are back again. Terrence, today we are going to talk about some of the anticipated films coming up on the 2019 slate. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff that's not confirmed. So we're not going to talk about all these, obviously, but just some of these titles that seem like folks, us and maybe other folks that would be excited about, and maybe some that we just want to clown a little bit.
Yeah, when I was doing and I use the term loosely, research for this episode, I was shocked at how many big name franchises have a new installment coming out in 2019. Yeah. I mean, it's basically all of them.
Yeah. Okay, well, just to start out real quick, in January, there's going to be some of these we just hit on really quickly, but we're going to see pretty quickly if there's any effect on Kevin Hart's career by the whole issue that just happened with him in the Oscars. He has a movie called The Upside coming out, directed by Neil Berger, that stars Bryan Cranston. So we'll see how the world reacts to that. Also in January, M. Night Shyamalan's Glass. So this is the one we've talked about this movie on the show before. This is sort of the movie that ties together his previous movies, Unbreakable, and that previous one, Split. Almost nearly forgot a movie title right off the bat there. Cash your bingo ticket. So I'm not overly excited about this, but I'm intrigued enough to see how he ties things together to go ahead and check this one out.
Yeah, I mean, as I said in the past, I'm done with M. Night. I don't care. I'm over it.
M. Night has made some egregious, awful movies.
Yeah, he's a trash director now.
All right, well, aggressive, but I cannot disagree with that in the slightest. And yes, you hear paper in the background. That's going to be this entire episode
Old school.
Long. Yes. How about the Lego Movie 2? The first one was sort of a surprise.
Yeah, I was really shocked by how entertaining that movie is. I mean, it's a CG film. It stars Chris Pratt. Like, that's all you need. You're going to have a hit there. But on top of that movie was actually, I mean, it was thoughtful. It was heartwarming. It was a bit above, the typical Pixar kind of film. So looking forward to the sequel.
All right. You had one you wanted to mention that comes out, I believe, also in January, at least very early in the year.
Yeah. So there's a film. This one was a little bit under my radar in that it's based on a property, but it was one I'm not familiar with. It's called Chaos Walking. And I think it's going to be a surprise hit, or at least a movie that people should be paying attention to, because it's directed by Doug Liman. And that's always worth a little bit of attention. But check out the leads for this movie. It's Tom Holland, the current Spider-Man, and Daisy Ridley, the current star of the Star Wars films.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, they're paired up for, get this, a dystopian film based on a young adult book series. Now, that is all of the elements that you need to win the box office right there.
Yeah, Doug Liman has had some good ones in the past. He I think he did Edge of Tomorrow?
He did do Edge of Tomorrow, and I believe, wasn't he also the guy that kicked off the Bourne franchise?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
that's been a while. He did Go way back in the day. That was the other big one that I was trying to remember from the 90s. He directed Swingers. He's had one of those kind of careers that's been a little bit sort of all over the place. He did some awesome things. He did some things that were not so good, and now we'll see how this turns out. That kind of sounds intriguing to me.
Yeah, but there's clearly a hole now that the whole Jennifer Lawrence young adult film series is over, and Harry Potter is over, and they've got the Grindelwald thing going, but that's on shaky legs at the moment. So I mean, I think this one could be a big hit. He's also got a Cannonball Run remake on his slate in the future. Okay, moving on.
Anyway, let's just keep moving. Here's one that I know Terrence is really looking forward to, Alita Battle Angel, directed by our buddy Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, my God.
Did I lie to the people?
No, you did not. I'm looking forward to it only in that I'm sure it is the front runner for worst film of 2019. Like, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be a dumpster fire. I know no one uses the term dumpster fire anymore, but we're going to resurrect it for this film.
You look forward to it in the way that we're going to be able to scream about it for 30 minutes whenever it comes out. It just looks
so bad. It looks so bad. It's another film from a director that nobody looks forward to any of his films.
Yeah,
It
and
just looks.
it's coming. Like we talked about before, how maybe the whole idea of dumping season is sort of antiquated now, but it is coming out during the traditional dumping season where studios just get movies off their slate that are poorly received or went way over budget or they just don't think are going to be a hit.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the trailer. If you're excited about it, move on.
Seek help.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In March, at least for now, I guess we're getting pretty close now. Captain Marvel. They've put that one out there. That's the next big Marvel movie coming out.
Oh, yeah. That one's guaranteed massive success. No
Brie
question.
Larson and Sam Jackson's in that. Lee
A
Pace.
de-aged Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think that's effective?
Uh,
okay.
all I can do in response to that is make sounds.
All right. I thought they did a pretty good job. I thought it looked like, classic Sam Jackson from the 90s.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, if anyone can do it convincingly, it's Marvel.
Yeah. They got the money.
Also in March, there's a movie called Us coming out. This is Jordan Peele's follow-up to Get Out.
Oh, intriguing.
So there's the plot details are still sort of sketchy on this, but Jordan Peele is writing and directing. We know that it's a thriller, and that's sort of about all we know about it. But pretty soon here, since this is slated for March, pretty soon we should probably start seeing advanced trailers on it. So
cool. I mean, Get Out was strong enough that I think everybody who saw it is definitely going to get in line to see whatever Jordan's got next.
Undoubtedly. And then not too long after that, slated to come out is Tim Burton's Dumbo.
Oh.
Yeah, this does not look great.
No, the trailer looks bad.
And this was a blend of CG and live action, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I realize I didn't like the trailer. I don't think you liked the trailer, but I did see some buzz online that there are people who were touched by it. And, Dumbo holds a place probably in everyone's heart.
Sure.
And to be fair, it's, one of those rare instances of a Tim Burton movie that doesn't instantly look like a Tim Burton movie.
Right, yep.
However, I will say that those don't usually go well. Like Tim Burton is best when he's full on Tim Burton.
Yeah, sticking to what has made him successful in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. In April, we have a DC entry, Shazam, which I'm so utter. I mean, we've hammered DC on the show several times.
Yeah, deservedly.
Yeah, and I guess we don't need to get into the habit of continuing that, but here we are.
Yeah.
So Shazam is coming. I don't understand why this was in the forefront of the DC Universe's desire to make a movie. I figured they would still continue to run through sort of the closer knit network of Batman and the Joker and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But here we are with Shazam.
It feels like they ran out of heroes fast.
Yeah, and I just how this one floated to the top, I don't know, and of course I'm saying that, and preceding that one is Aquaman, which I sort of have the same feeling about, but who knows? So
So the one intriguing thing about Shazam is it's obviously a lighthearted superhero movie, which is of course what all the Marvel movies have been. They've been massively successful. DC has gone for these like dark, brooding films. They've all been garbage. Mm-hmm. Here is DC, I think, trying to make a movie that works like a Marvel film.
Yep.
And, I for one hope they pull it off because I don't know how many more of these bad DC movies I can possibly sit through.
I want DC to succeed because I want Marvel to not rest on their laurels and start making crappy movies. Like, competition is a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
If DC can raise the bar and actually pose a threat, and when I say pose a threat, I mean in the very micro sense, because in the macro sense, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
But, make a dent in maybe just a single year's box office of Marvel versus DC.
Sure.
And when I say make a dent, I don't mean win the year, because that is not going to happen.
Yeah. And Shazam stars Zachary Levi. That's an interesting choice.
Yep.
But, I mean, it kind of works in the trailer. I don't know. I'm going to try to keep an open mind and see it when I see it.
Sure. Yep. Directed by David F. Sandberg. All right, next one on my list here is the Hellboy remake, directed by Neil Marshall. And we talked about this a little bit on the show before. This stars David Harbour of Stranger Things fame, Mila Jovovich, and Ian McShane.
Yeah, so just to clarify, David Harbour is the sheriff from Stranger Things,
right?
Not one of the kids.
Right. Child Hellboy would be an odd movie.
Yeah.
Don't give them ideas.
This is, again, one of those remakes that you can file under the box of who was waiting for this.
Yeah.
But here we are. The visuals look like Hellboy. So
I guess the thing that confuses me is this would make sense to me if a director of lesser note made the original Hellboy,
Right.
but it was Guillermo del Toro.
Right.
Are we convinced that? I mean, I know Neil Marshall is successful in his own right, but are we to believe that Neil Marshall is going to make a better visual look and and make more interesting Hellboy if Guillermo del Toro did what he did with it?
Yeah, if you were to come to me and give me those two directors to make Hellboy, I'm going Del Toro all day long.
It's just really strange choice to me, but again, I will check it out just because it's going to be, well, I'm not saying it's going to be a hit, but I enjoyed the original Hellboy. I think maybe morbid curiosity will draw me. Probably not in the theater, but I would check it out as a rental unless the trailers come out and just look amazing, which I think we've already seen one.
I don't believe I've seen a trailer.
No, maybe it wasn't a
just
trailer.
some stills of the characters in costume. I think it should note that Hellboy before movies was a comic book character. Right now, it's open season for comic books. If there was one that was good and popular, some studio is going to snatch it up because they want to get in the game. That's probably what's happening here.
Okay. I have another one on here just based on the fact that I was a fan of this director's previous movie. David Robert Mitchell's Under the Silver Lake is coming out, presumably in April as well here, at least for now. He is the guy who directed It Follows, which is a horror film that I really enjoyed from a couple of years back.
I did too, yeah, it's strong.
Yeah. And again, I think it's always worth noting when either of us really enjoy horror film because we're just not big fans of the genre. Yeah. So I would look forward to...
they have to do something really special with a horror movie for us to connect.
Yeah. And this one stars Andrew Garfield, ex-Spider-Man.
Right.
And Topher Grace, another ex-Spider-Man, which is sort of interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if he has any little Easter eggs in there for the fans.
Is this another horror film?
It's based on a novel, and it does not appear to be another horror film, at least based on this short description. So
okay, I'm intrigued. I'll look forward to it.
Yeah. So this is more of it looks like more of a, not like a cop picture. Let me just instead of doing what I'm doing right now, I'm just going to read you what we have from Rotten Tomatoes here. Director David Robert Mitchell had a horror sleeper hit in 2015. For his sophomore effort, he turns to an understated mystery. There you go. Andrew Garfield is a man who embarks on a quest through Los Angeles to find a mysterious woman who suddenly disappeared after the two of them shared a brief encounter. So not a whole lot known there. It looks like a mystery film. I'm intrigued because I really enjoyed that It Follows picture.
Right. Just based on the description, you might think, well, there's not a whole lot of there. But the thing about It Follows is how subtly, just corrosively different that film is. And so based on that, I have a hard time believing that anything about this new film will be ordinary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. All right, next one is probably the biggest movie of the year next year, Avengers Endgame. They've settled on Endgame. I guess Avengers 4 Endgame.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that title. I'm sure it's appropriate. I don't know if it's directly from the comics or not, but the title doesn't really inspire a lot of joy in me to see it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of really any of the titles of Marvel movies, but whatever. They know what they're doing. They know how to make a good movie. I'm sure this will be a wild ride. I'm sure there will be laughing and crying and cheering at the end of it. Everybody will be happy except for the people who love the one single character who will actually stay dead.
Right. I am very close to a person who will be in that category. And I'm already plotting out my strategy for how to handle that. It's going to be a dark couple of weeks. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. No spoilers, people. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't know anything.
Yeah.
But
the signals are clear.
Yeah. If you've watched enough movies, you can kind of read between the lines on some stuff.
Yeah. So, the initial trailer didn't get me going, but I think as we've discussed, it was more there to get you excited about the actual full trailer, which is coming down later. I'm excited to see it because it's going to close up, the Avengers, giant series of movies. And I did think I really liked Thanos as a villain. I'm very intrigued by how that movie ended. It was a little bit of a shock to me because I did not have any context. I had not read the comic or anything. So, and of course, the way that movie ended, it's not going like all the things that happened at the end of that movie. Those folks aren't all going to stay dead, but we'll just be really intrigued to see what happens in the last one. So, I mean, I'm on board no matter how it looks. So, it'll be just really interesting to see how they close it up. And then what happens with some of those remaining characters in the Marvel Universe going forward. They've got such a massive cash cow right now. They're obviously not going to stop making movies. So I'm curious what's going to happen from then on. Are they going to just continue on with other standalone films from some of the heroes? Do you think, I wonder if maybe they might take the X-Men route and maybe like recast, reboot from earlier or later in live or whatever. I don't know. I'm just intrigued to see where they go next, because Marvel/Disney is obviously not one to rest on their laurels.
Sure. Yeah. And I would also like to just note that this film's release date is May 3rd, 2019. And we've kind of discussed in the past how the summer release window, when all the big popcorn blockbuster films come out, it's getting earlier and earlier in the year. I mean, May 3rd seems very early to launch what is likely to be the most successful movie of the year.
I believe the new trailer, which just came out right before we recorded here, actually listed as April. So the information that we had already had in our hands for doing this review had it slated in May. So I think they're moving it back even further.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I think I don't know if we've had the first big blockbuster be released in April before. I know we've had first week of May in recent years, but I don't think it's crept into April. God. So this could be the first.
And it used to be June. It used to be June 1st was when the summer season opened. Now we're in April sometime. It's kind of astounding.
Yeah. All right, next one on my list here that some folks will be excited about, John Wick Chapter 3. Keanu Reeves has carved out quite a late career. I say late, he's not that old, but he just kind of drops off the planet for a few years, then he comes back, and it's like, whoa, he's got this massive, successful franchise. And it's strange because if you read anything about him as a celebrity, he is about as quiet and introverted and anti-violence as any celebrity I've ever read about. And he just plays this murderous rampage character, which I just feel like is probably a lot of fun for him.
Yeah, this franchise reminds me a lot of Liam Neeson's Taken franchise in that it, was low budget, kind of came out of left field. No one was expecting it. And the first one was just really interesting, a little original and unexpected, turned out to be a big hit. And then all the subsequent films have just been just lame. What the first one should always have been, I can't say this is only the third John Wick movie and it hasn't come out yet, but it just feels like it's going to kind of follow along a parallel course to that Taken franchise.
Yeah, and as always, we'll be looking to see what sparks his thirst for murder.
Yes.
All right. Next one on my list is, we'll just hit this one quickly, Rocket Man. That one is the one directed by Dexter Fletcher, the next rock biopic in the chamber after Bohemian Rhapsody. And wow, it's got some huge shoes to fill. Looking backwards at this, when this comes out, looking back, Bohemian Rhapsody by that time will have crossed, I don't know, 700-800 million by then probably. Yeah, it's over 6 now. Yep. You mentioned previously they're going to do, I guess, another release where they encourage people to sing along.
Yep.
They get another couple $100 million out of that. Man, that's going to be a lot of pressure on Rocket Man to do the same. So we'll see. The trailer certainly does not look as good as Bohemian Rhapsody does.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the casting.
Yeah, it stars Taron Egerton, who was in the Kingsman movies.
Yes, and recently in the Robin Hood massive box office flop.
Yeah, who could have seen that coming?
Yeah, right. Big
God,
surprise.
did that look horrible.
So he's a bit of a wild card for this film. Maybe a good sign for a few. Probably a red flag for most.
Yeah. That one feels like a rental to me.
Yeah.
Unless I hear from people I trust that it's good.
And am I wrong here in saying that we've now done a Queen doc, we've got a Rocket Man doc? I mean,
biopic,
biopic. There's got to be a David Bowie one on the horizon.
Sure,
that seems like the next logical choice.
Yeah, Bowie, and I mean, man, there just seems like there's Hollywood must be looking at the success of Bohemian Rhapsody and saying, wow, we found an entire new genre to exploit. Let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm really curious to see, soon in the next few months, we should start seeing a lot of development news about the pipeline of rock biopics starting to fill up and who will be, who they'll be covering in those.
Yeah, we'll
Bowie
see.
certainly seems like a number one. All right, next one on my list. This one I just kind of pulled out of the sky because the description literally grabbed me by saying, if you liked Interstellar, you might like this. I actually liked Interstellar, one of Chris Nolan's movies. This one's called Ad Astra. It is directed by James Gray. It stars Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones. I'm just going to read the description to you.
Hold on. I just need to take a moment to take in that cast.
Okay.
Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes, they play father and son.
Okay. Couple things. First of all, that is an odd pairing. Also, I mean, I know Brad Pitt is younger than Tommy Lee Jones, but that's two old dudes.
Yes, you got to that before I could get to it.
All right.
I'm sure. I know Brad Pitt's a couple of years younger.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is the description. Director James Gray takes to the outer reaches of space to tell the story of an engineer, Brad Pitt, who embarks on a fantastic voyage in pursuit of his father, who took a one-way trip to Neptune 20 years prior. That just sounds so crazy and sci-fi that I kind of want to see it, at least based on description. Now, when I reserve the right to erase this entirely from memory once I actually see a trailer.
The director, do we know him?
James Gray, he most recently did The Lost City of Z. I don't know if you saw that. I think that was on...
Yeah, the McConaughey film? No.
This starred Charlie Hunnam, who was in the first Pacific Rim. He was the star of Sons of Anarchy.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was I don't know. I don't think it got a release. I think it might have been like a straight to streaming, like an Amazon Prime kind of thing.
The best it could possibly deserve.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, that guy, I mean, not to get off topic, but there's a lot of not good things about the first Pacific Rim, but by far the worst is him. He is atrociously bad in that film.
Yeah, you should try a couple episodes of Sons of Anarchy sometime.
I will not.
And by that, I mean don't.
Don't you threaten me.
I actually liked him in that, but he was not good in that other movie. So, all right, moving on. Aladdin, live action. It's a live action Aladdin?
Yes.
Live action Aladdin. Guy Ritchie, who has one of the weirdest filmographies in recent memory, directs, starring Will Smith, Naomi Scott, Nassim Pedrad from SNL. This one allegedly coming out in May. I don't really have thoughts on this.
Yeah, the live action Disney movies have been a mixed bag. Like, none of them have been massively successful. Mm-hmm. None of them have not been successful. They just seem to be a thing that happens. This one, maybe we'll change that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I think we've seen a teaser for this. Have we not seen a teaser for this? Unless there's yet another Godzilla movie out there somewhere.
I feel like there's been a teaser for
it. There's been a teaser that a lot of people actually liked online. I don't know.
Yeah, so I didn't really care about...
That's right. It has the young girl who plays 11 from Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah. I didn't really care for the previous, live action American, well, I guess they're always live action, Godzilla film that came out. But I did really, really enjoy Kong Skull Island, which is set in the same universe from the same studio. And I believe after this Godzilla movie, the plan is to...
Put them against each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Typical.
So... I'll definitely see it because, I got to be ready for that pairing. Uh-huh. But, I always bet on the monkey.
That's fair. All right. Dark Phoenix is yet another one of these X-Men movies that the ones that I haven't seen are piling up.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so Sophie Turner, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and Jennifer Lawrence. This one's supposed to come out in June. I'm just mentioning this because I know it's still a popular franchise, although it's not massively popular anymore. Again, I mean, I can't say that I'm looking forward to this because I haven't seen the other ones in recent years. So just throw it out there.
I'm one behind. I didn't see Age of Apocalypse. And I've never heard a single good thing about it, so I still have no real desire to see it. I don't have any desire to see this one either. Yeah. I just feel like at this point, everyone is ready for these X-Men films to stop being made so Marvel can start making them and they'll be good again.
Yeah, I want to say there was one of the First Class cast that I did enjoy, and it might have actually been First Class. But
yeah, First Class was good.
That was a solid one, right?
Yeah. Definitely an enjoyable film.
Yeah, kind of got us excited about how that would go, and then the next one came out.
Yeah, and it also kind of reminded everyone that, hey, Bryan Singer can be a good director. No, wait. He didn't direct that one. He came back for the one after that.
Yeah, I've lost the thread on Bryan Singer.
in
his X-Men involvement.
Sort of all over the place.
Yeah, all right. F. Gary Gray of Fast and Furious fame has directed one of those. I don't know which.
All right.
At least not off the top of my head. He is directing the new Men in Black movie, which settled on the title Men in Black International.
I had not heard that it had a title yet.
Yes. It stars Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth.
That's an interesting pairing, considering they were just together in Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, right. And I thought they had pretty damn good chemistry as well. Liam Neeson is also in this movie.
Ooh.
I enjoyed the original Men in Black. I think I saw the second one, not so good. And then however many they made after that, I did not watch. I don't think I would have any interest in this, but I'm going to admit to you in the world right now that I think I have a confusing thing for Chris Hemsworth. I'm confused.
Right. And I think that's understandable. I'm sort of in the same boat. I don't particularly care.
Hey, you stay away from Chris Hemsworth.
All right. He's all yours. I'm just saying,
Yeah, that's right.
I don't have a particular interest in Men in Black at all.
But Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Continue.
I'm just going to say that he's really, really good at comedy, surprisingly for a guy who's so good looking.
Yes.
And he's the one redeeming thing about the Ghostbusters remake from a year or two ago, the all-female cast. Not a good movie at all, but they throw him into it, and every scene he's in, he steals. So an entire movie where he just gets to ham it up playing, Men in Black kind of schlock. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about that one.
Yep.
So, Toy Story 4, after all the years it took to get to, I guess, the second one,
The third one.
and then
Took forever to get to the third
It took forever to get to the third one. Okay, and now here comes number 4.
Yep.
I did see the third one. I don't remember how I felt about it. Obviously, I didn't hate it or love it because I don't remember.
I thought it was just okay, but I know everyone else in the world loves it. Many people believe it's the best of the lot. So, yeah.
What?
That is true. That is the thing.
That's surprising.
So it's a no-brainer they were going to make a fourth one. I'm glad they didn't wait 20 years to do it. And hey, more power to them. I hope it's good.
Yep. All right, here's one that's odd and interesting to me. It's not genre. It's not a comic book movie. It's based on true events. I don't know if you've heard anything about this one. It's called Ford versus Ferrari. It's directed by James Mangold. It stars Christian Bale, Matt Damon, John Bernthal, who I think we both know is the guy who plays the Punisher, and Shane in The Walking Dead. I know you're a big fan. And Catriona Balfe, who plays the main role in Outlander, who I think she's actually a pretty talented actress. So this is based on true events. It's about it's about Ford and their effort to build a race-worthy car to rival and defeat the Ferrari team in 1966 at the Hours of Le Mans race. So just because, I'm not really a car guy. I mean, I appreciate cars. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I appreciate nice cars, and I like, it's not really technically historical epic. It takes place in the past, but this is just so different from a lot of the fare that we're talking about right now. Animated movies and comic book movies and sci-fi and all that crazy stuff. Like I'm kind of curious to see what Mangold does with this. And Mangold's had some pretty good movies in the past, so I'm curious to see that one, pending any trailers, obviously.
The cast makes it intriguing, but man, car movies never do well. Nobody cares.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, if it's about them trying to develop something for a race, then I assume there's going to be sort of that action element. I know Ron Howard had that thing with
and no one
Chris
cared.
Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even see it.
And you love Chris Hemsworth.
I do. Don't look at me like that.
Passionately, deeply, you love him.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, but I'm just saying,
Hart.
nobody loves car movies.
All right. So, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Oh yeah,
This is a big one.
Absolutely.
Tom Holland.
Did you like the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie?
I did.
Homecoming.
I was surprised that I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the theaters because I thought, the trailers didn't really do a lot for me. And so finally, as happens, if it's like a comic book movie or an event movie or a movie that did really well in the theaters that I didn't see, I'll still rent it just to, we do a movie podcast, so I want to be caught up.
Right.
And I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot. I think Tom Holland does a great job as Spider-Man, and I'm actually excited about this.
I loved the first half of it. Then the second half, it just turns into literally every other Marvel movie. The CG fighting, the bad guys, the explosions, the lights.
Yeah.
I'm over all that. So, it's all by the numbers at this point. But yeah, I love the first one. I love the casting. I'm looking forward to the second one. And I mean, God, if they could just figure out something fresh to do with the big fight at the end, where it's just not another bunch of CG and buildings getting knocked over.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
That would be nice. Like if I feel like every climax in those movies takes place in some sort of downtown setting.
Right.
Like
I feel like you don't need the third act of any Marvel movie. There's no purpose to them. It's just the fight.
I mean, I think that's a legitimate criticism. All right, next up, The Lion King, slated to come out
live action
in July. Yes, The Lion King alternate live action take. Directed by Jon Favreau. Is it Favreau? Is it Favreau? I really have no idea.
I've always heard Favreau.
Yeah, let's just go with that. Don Glover, Beyonce, Seth Rogen, James Earl Jones, several others.
Yeah, several others. John Oliver,
right. I experienced a bit of trauma from the first Lion King. Very quick aside, I promise. I worked retail at Toys R Us at the time. I was very young when the first Lion King came out. And the way it works at Toys R Us is when they're promoting something, if it's a movie, they play the ever-living shit out of the soundtrack. So those two Elton John songs that were paired with The Lion King,
yes.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight and Circle of Life, which, as you can tell, are right at the tip of my tongue and in my brain. I did not do any research to pull that up because I went through an entire year of hearing those songs twice every half hour for my entire shift at the time that I worked there. So I wanted to kind of kill lions at the time, and I wanted to smash the toys. And I think I enjoyed The Lion King, but that experience ruined the movie for me because I was just so sick of The Lion King. I know it's legendary and people love it and blah blah blah, and I'm sure I'll see the new one, but I just wanted to relay that story.
Hakuna Matata.
Yes. All right, a couple more here before we get out of here. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is one definitely I'm looking forward to just because it's Quentin Tarantino. The casting has been sort of there's been a lot of information released over the last few months. Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, or Robbie if you prefer, Al Pacino, Dakota Fanning. There's a lot of people in this movie. This, of course, is about the Hollywood land or Hollywood murders that they call them with Charles Manson. So I think we've discussed that on the show before. I think we're both looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we'll see what Tarantino does about it.
And like you said, of one of the earlier films, this is a nice break from superheroes and animated movies and stuff like that. It's good to get a few of these into the mix.
Yeah. All right. So just a couple more here that we'll just sort of rapid fire. The New Mutants, another X-Men series of movies apparently that are coming with another cast.
Really? That's
playing different heroes. Yeah. So this apparently these are going to be playing the next generation X-Men heroes from the comic books with the series of the same name. So the New Mutants comics will now be turned into a movie, and I don't really recognize any of the names in this cast list. Macy Williams is in Game of Thrones, and Anna Taylor-Joy, I'm not sure who that is. So more X-Men stuff coming.
Sounds like something that should be like a Netflix series.
Yeah, I can't really say that I'm looking forward to that one. We don't need more X-Men.
And we don't need them from Fox. We need them from Marvel.
Yeah. All right. Hobbs and Shaw, the spinoff from
Fast and the Furious,
right? Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. Much to the chagrin, that'll be a huge hit. Yeah. Much to the chagrin of Vin Diesel. Let's see, and of course we have the Joker movie coming out sometime. They're saying next October. Man, there's been a lot of hype. I can't remember the last movie that I've seen so much news about, not even the Marvel movies, where I've seen so many news items about, here are photos from the set.
Yeah.
What am I missing? Like we've talked about, there are certain things that are intriguing about it, but I don't feel like anyone who is interested in anything except genre movies has any interest in that. But every day there's a new photo of Joaquin Phoenix, and it's terrible.
Well, that's why nothing is right about it.
Yeah.
It's not part of the universe. It doesn't have the right cast. It doesn't look like anything else. It's either going to be, revelatory because it's so different and fresh, or it's going to be a catastrophic comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could fall somewhere in between. We'll see. I don't know. We got a ways to go on that one. There's another Addams Family movie because everyone wants that. There's a movie called You Are My Friend, which is a Mr. Rogers movie starring Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
So on the heels of that very popular documentary. I have not
Probably
seen the documentary
because
yet.
of the documentary.
Yeah, have you seen the documentary yet?
No, I'm not.
I want to, but I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. So that one's coming out. And just getting towards the end of the list here. For some reason, there's another Charlie's Angels movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and...
yeah, we're definitely at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop there. Frozen 2 apparently is going to be coming out.
Oh, well,
and,
crap. That's a massive one.
Yeah, well...
That's going to be huge.
Actually, there's two big ones. Well, I mean, obviously, if we're going through the year sequentially, there's some ones that are slated in December. So Frozen 2. And then I guess there's three more I want to mention. Two very briefly. Jumanji 2. Okay. The original Jumanji... Well, not the original, but the remake with Dwayne Johnson, I think, was a shocking hit.
Yeah, so this would actually be Jumanji 3?
Yeah. It's Jumanji 2 based on the remake that that Dwayne Johnson and Jack Black did. They're calling it Jumanji 2, at least for now.
Okay.
But I was shocked how much I enjoyed that. The fact that I saw it in the theater, we never had plans to see it in the theater, but we just kind of said, hey, well, you know what? We like The Rock. We like Jack Black. Let's see what's going on. And we laughed the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I was surprised.
It's a very
at how good
entertaining
it was.
movie.
And it was a big hit. It was a huge hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of in the middle of a bunch of Dwayne Johnson movies that weren't such a big hits.
Right.
This one I don't really have any additional information on, but I'm just going to throw this at you. You might have actually seen this when you did your research as well, but apparently they're making another Masters of the Universe movie. I don't recognize any names associated with this. So
that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I would expect that this will fall off of this list at some point.
Yeah.
And of course, the last one on here is Star Wars Episode 9.
Oh, yeah.
So finishing with the big one here. J.J. Abrams is, of course, coming back to direct. Cast of characters: Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, all those folks. And
so just to wrap this up, question for you. Biggest movie of the year, Avengers 4 or Star Wars 9?
I think it's going to be Avengers 4.
Okay.
I think there will be some leftover meh from the last Star Wars movie, even though it's not part of the series. It was the standalone, the solo movie. I just think there might be some fatigue setting in, and while there should be fatigue setting in with the Marvel movies, there does not appear to be any.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, even the last Star Wars movie in the series was meh. So
right, and for a lot of folks,
I'm curious about it, but not excited about it. I'm far more excited for Avengers 4.
Yeah.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, but they did make the right move in bringing Abrams back.
Yeah, had to. He needed to fix it.
Okay, well, deep breath.
Yeah,
There's done.
There's a lot coming in 2019.
Yep, and we will talk about them all as they come in the future. So we appreciate you guys listening once again. You can always hit us up on Twitter at TechBloodPod, and we will see you on the next one.
Yeah, start saving your money because 2019 is going to be hard on your wallet.
All right, guys, see you next time.